Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Lego Mandalorian here, and today we will be reviewing the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar from 2018. Now, the reason why it's in this box is because I ordered it directly from Lego, just because I could. So anyway, I also know that there's going to be more stuff in here, so let's see how fast I can unbox this. So in the box, there's a lot more than just the set itself, but there's that. So there's also, I guess that it's like the Lego Life magazine. I guess, like, it used to be called Lego Club, but they changed it. There's also, like, this, sticker, collect them all. Okay, there's only 4, so that won't be too hard to collect. Also, it actually came with this, Han Solo Mud Trooper from Solo, A Star Wars Story. I'm probably gonna leave it in the bag. If I order again, and I get that, I'll probably unbox that one. You know, just one to keep out, one to save. So anyway, let's get on to the unboxing. Alright, so this is what the entire setup looks like. Now, as you can see, there are 8 minifigures and 16 builds, so how about let's start off by reviewing the minifigures. So the main reason why I got this advent calendar is because of the blue leader, which he's basically the only exclusive character. I mean, you can consider the snowman to be exclusive because of his face, which also, speaking of him, he actually, his use basically in this set is to hold his helmet because he comes with a hairpiece. So you can just give him his helmet right now. So now I do think he's a really cool minifigure. I do like his face print, but as you can see, like with this blue squadron member, you know, his torso and leg prints are the same. And my real problem with him is the fact that he doesn't have an orange visor, so he's just got like a simple regular head. And that's just one thing I do like about them, is because of their visors. I know, like, in the new X-Wing, they have, like, the visors printed onto the helmets, which I'm not a really big fan of, but, that's just what I think of him. You know, still really cool character. The main reason why I collect Rebel pilots is because of their helmets. He also, like everyone else, has a unique helmet piece. So let's move on to the next minifigure. So here we have Rose Tico, and honestly, this is my least favorite part about this advent calendar because, like, there really isn't anyone who likes Rose Tico. Like, I honestly think she's just a terrible, unnecessary character, in Star Wars Episode 8. Along with the movie itself is just, you know what? I mean, the torso print is cool. You know, it's obviously new, but not exclusive. I'll probably use Rose in my Lethal mock just as like a regular random citizen. But that's all I can really think of with this minifigure. But yeah, honestly, not my favorite part of the advent calendar. So let's move on to the next minifigure. So now we've got this guy. I do not remember his name, but I think he's like he's from The Force Awakens. He's not actually named, but he's, okay, I don't actually know what he is, but he's, like, in the Rathtar scene, there's this guy, like, when all those gangs come into Han and Chewie's, not Millennium Falcon, but, like Rose Tico, I'll probably use him in my Lethal mock. I mean, still pretty cool. You got, like, the torso and leg prints, the head itself, an interesting design, not amazing, but I still think it's decent enough, to use in my Lethal mock. So let's move on to the next minifigure. So here we got the Death Trooper from Rogue One. Now, I actually have quite a few Death Troopers. I think I've got 4 of them. So the one thing that stands out with this guy is that he has a rifle, whereas the other guys have regular blasters. I really do like the Death Troopers from Rogue One. I think their designs really do make them stand out from, like, the typical Stormtroopers. So, like, who knows what happened to them, like, why they weren't in the original trilogy, but, yes, I do think the Death Troopers are some really cool characters from the new trilogy. He will be a welcome addition to my, Imperial Army collection, so let's move on to the next minifigure. So here we have, I do not remember his name, Rowan or Ronan, something like that. He's from the animated Lego series called the Freemaker Adventures. I've seen some of it, not really my cup of tea. much rather prefer watching something like the Star Wars, the Clone Wars, or Star Wars Rebels. So anyway, I mean, he's still a decent minifigure. His torso print is exclusive to his figure, not to this set. He's got like this force hand on the back of his torso. I'll probably use him in my Lethal mock. So, like, yeah, he'll fit in like with like these two characters. I think I've got a couple more that I could use in the mock, but he'll obviously not have his lightsaber. So let's move on to the last two. The reason why I said the last two is because these two minifigures are droids, like are pretty common. The battle droids, super easy to get. It's been in several sets. I'm fine with them using just a regular battle droid because honestly, you can never have too many battle droids. IG-88, I think that's like my third IG-88. I got like one from the 2011 Executor, the one from the 2017 Bounty Hunter Speeder. So not really sure what I'm gonna do with them, but yeah, can never have too many battle droids. IG-88. Like I said, don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But anyway, let's move on to the builds themselves. So here we have the ATAT. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. The one thing that makes them stand out from just being regular ATATs is the is like the orange backs, I guess you could say. Not really much else to say with them. I do kind of wish that they had extra like knee joints, because yeah, of course they've got movable legs. There's not really much else to say. I do like how the cockpit moves back and forth. It's still a solid build, so let's move on to the next build. So I'm pretty sure this is in every advent calendar, but we got the Christmas tree. Now, the design is a bit odd. I don't know why they used these sticks. I mean, I feel like if they would have just used like plates, it would have made a bit more of an accurate tree. Like you can obviously move these around. I don't know really what else you could do. That's just what I could think of on the top of my head. You got the light on the top of the tree. Nothing much else to say about this build, so let's move on to the next one. So here we got the Nabu Starfighter. Now, I honestly think the designers knocked it out of the park with this design. It looks exactly how it does in the movies. It gets like great visual accuracy to like the larger versions. Yeah, honestly, this is definitely one of the cooler miniature models that have been inside this advent calendar. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have just like basically just a regular typical Star Wars cannon. You could say it's the one from the Empire Strikes Back that the snowtroopers try to use to shoot the Millennium Falcon with. I mean, it's not as accurate to it, but you could just say it's a typical Imperial Blaster. You can obviously move it up and down. You got the handles, so nothing really much else to say. You got the stud shooter, of course. I'm not going to shoot it at the camera, but it's a solid build. I might use it somewhere. So let's move on to the next model. Okay, so this vehicle, like when I first built it, I did not know what it was from, but then it occurred to me that it was like a smaller version of like some Freemaker Adventures vehicle from I think the second season. So you know, I only watched like the first season and then I was done with it. I mean, it's a decent build. I do think like the ship itself is a bit of an odd design, but it still feels like Star Wars somehow. Now I don't really have much else to say about this build, so let's move on to the next one. So here we have General Grievous's personal starfighter. I do think it is a very accurate design to the original. I'm not sure why these wing plates are down like that. Maybe that's how they were. Maybe that's how it's designed. I don't remember. But yeah, I do think it's incredibly accurate to the original design. So, you know, really cool build. So let's move on to the next one. All right. So this vehicle, if you remember from Rogue One, they use it to get into Scarif. It's kind of like a transport version of Darth Vader shuttle or Shuttle Tidarium from the Return of the Jedi. So instead of 2 wings, there's 4. We actually got these new blaster pieces. They're hollow. Not sure if you can see them or not, but it's a decent design. I do think the yeah, I did think this vehicle was, pretty cool. Not my favorite Star Wars vehicle, of course, but I still think it's a solid build. So let's move on to the next vehicle. All right, so this one is the speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. Now, it's obviously a scaled down version of what they actually look like. Now, I think they did it, like, the design is fine, but my problem is, like, if you actually want to put a minifigure on here, you need to have them, like, standing up, but, like, you could take this off and then they'd be sitting down, so I don't know why they added this. I mean, I know they do have, like, that back portion, but, like, if you actually want to put a minifigure on there, you'll need to take that off. So that's my real problem with it. I feel like maybe if they would have added, like, a 1x2 dark gray brick or a plate on the side, I think it would have done better than this, because you could actually put a minifigure on here, but that's just my opinion. That's just, a very honest opinion on this. So let's move on to the next vehicle. So here we have the Republic fighter tank, if you can see it right there. And actually, I brought the 2017 one right here for comparison. So I think it is fairly accurate to the actual one. Actually, I feel like maybe they could have made this piece dark red, because as you can see, that is dark red. So I think, like, they did pretty well with the design, although I think, the red could have been used a bit differently, because as you can see with the actual design, it's like, we got white and then red. But anyway, I think it's still a solid build. So let's move on to the next vehicle. So here we have Luke's land speeder from A New Hope, or just, the very first Star Wars movie. So I think they did a really good job with designing this. You got, obviously, the damaged engine. This moves up and down. But overall, I think it's a very solid design. It's very accurate to the actual land speeder. I think I've still got mine intact. The 2014 one, not the 2017 one. But yeah, it's definitely a really good design. So let's move on to the next one. So when I was building this, I wasn't actually sure what it was. But then I might not be entirely correct, but I think this is the train from Solo: A Star Wars Story, like the one in the trailer. I don't know if it's technically a train. I mean, it's on a railway, so I'm just going to call it a train. That's not the first time something's knocked over in this video. But anyway, I do think the design is pretty accurate to what it was like, at least when I saw it in the trailer. I'm guessing this is a gun. So nothing much else to say. I never saw Solo. I might see it in the future. But it's a solid design, so let's move on to the next vehicle. So this is Anakin Starfighter from the Clone Wars, or I guess he's also from, like, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I do think they did a pretty good job with it. Although, like, I actually do have his Starfighter but it's the Revenge of the Sith one, so the design is a lot different. So I won't be able to give you guys a comparison with that one. But I do think it's a very solid design. I really like how they use the yellow and gray together. Very accurate to the actual build. Nothing much else to say about this one. So let's move on to the last vehicle. Now, the last vehicle here isn't the last build, but yes, it is the last vehicle. So it is the TIE Fighter from The Force Awakens. I mean, it might be from The Last Jedi, but the real difference is, like, the light gray wings, and then the red and black, and then the red, you got, like, the red windshield. So it's a cool design. I mean, I kind of would have preferred if they would have had a regular TIE Fighter, because I just prefer them. But anyway, not much else to say about this build. So there are two more builds left, but they are not vehicles, so let's just show them off right now. Right, so when I said two, I actually didn't know that there was actually three, so I'll just show you guys this one right now. I'm assuming this is a Rathtar from The Force Awakens. I might be wrong. So yeah, this is another build that I just wasn't sure what it was when I was building it, or, like, when I saw it. So then the next one, I'm not sure what this is either, which is kind of weird. I'm assuming it is, like, a medical droid or, like, a medical station. I mean, I guess you could use this, like, as a prop if you're making, like, a Lego mock. So then, the last but not least, we have the rifle stand. Now, the rifle stand is actually for this guy and the Death Trooper. I cannot keep anything in my hands for some reason. So that's just for their rifles. Nothing much else to say about that build. Maybe you could use it in a mock, but it might be a bit too simple for my taste. So how about let's take a look at the box. Alright, so when I was opening this box, I had no idea how these advent calendars actually work. I didn't know they were actually like supposed to punch holes like at random parts in the box. So like what I did, like I had to look like inside here because I didn't want to rip the box. Oh wait, that's upside down, but I didn't want to rip the box, so I had to look at all these, like, and like the ones like right in the center were the hardest. So that's basically how I built all these models. So then also we've got like this playmat. So not much to say about this. I'm not gonna really use this. Nothing much else to say about this mat. You know, obviously this is kind of like just a Christmas thing, so it's obviously Christmas themed. So, you know, I'm not really into this part of the advent calendar. I'm more into like the exclusive figures or just the figures that are hard to get a hold of. So that's all I have to say about this advent calendar. Now, I know a lot of people have been complaining about them over the years that they've been going downhill. But, you know, I've never actually gotten an advent calendar, and I just wanted to get it because of the blue leader. Okay, I think he fell off my table, so I can't show you him right now. But anyway, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I think that's a bit generous, but that's my honest opinion. So anyway, if you like this video, you can give it a like. If you want to see more of this kind of content, you can subscribe. And leave me your thoughts about the Star Wars 2018 Advent Calendar in the comments section below. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.